Shalom, shalom, Israel's brothers Abayala coming back at you with another cold cut. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. This cold cut is going to kind of go into this grinding and not being slothful, especially 23 days before Passover. You have 23 days before Passover. How do you want to go into this Passover? How do you want to go into eating the body of the Lord? Because you have to discern the body of the Lord. This is not a light thing that you can just walk into. You know, you've been slothful leading up to Passover and you think you can flip a switch. That's not how that works, right? Even they'll tell you in sports, you know, even when playoff season comes around, you better been playing like that all year. Because if not, you can't just flip a switch and just be good. You can't just flip a switch and just say, you know, and the Lord's just going to accept you. You have to show a pattern of good works. You have to have consistency leading up to the body of the Lord. Let me get this precept real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. You have to understand that this is a serious thing. You have 23 days to Passover. All right, this 1 Corinthians chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse number 7. I'll start at verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. So the Lord, he sacrificed himself for us and had no leaven. No guile was found in him. How much more for us when we're going into this Passover eating the body of the Lord, man? Right? You got to purge out. There's multiple ways to purge out the leaven: by fasting, afflicting yourselves, reading, doing the works of the Most High, doing alms, right? Doing alms and doing these different things to and building yourself up in the Lord and showing those patterns of good works, man. And then you will be accepted thereof, right? And it says, verse 8, therefore let us keep the feast not with old leaven. Yeah, why would you keep the feast with the old things that you used to do? Why would you keep the feast with that old leaven that you've been dealing with and that you've been having secretly for years and years on end? Never changed. You're still the same old person. You're the same guy. When people see you, it's like, you're still the same dude, aren't you? And they smack you in the back of the head. And you don't want the Lord to see you like that. You're just the same person. I gave you this knowledge and you're just the same person. You've never grown. You're the same dude, same girl, same woman, right? And it says, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. And you want to be sincere. Leading up to this Passover, you want to be sincere. Sincerely grinding, going as hard as you can for Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Not being slothful. Every single day, using that as an opportunity to grind with your hands. Let me go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 11. All right? This is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse number 11. And that you study to be quiet and to do your own business and work with your own hands as we have commanded you. So you got to do your business in this truth. You got to handle your business in this truth. Right? What they say, you got to handle your business. You got to work with your own hands. It's nobody else can save you but the Lord. Brothers can't save you. Your congregation can't save you. Your leader, your elder cannot save you. You gotta work with your own hands and understand that the gift of the Most High is His mercy and salvation. That comes from the Lord. That comes from nobody else. But you got to show that. You got to prove that by what? Working with your own hands as we have commanded you. All right, let me get another precept. Let's go to the book of Sirach 7 and 15. You gotta grind, man. You gotta work. You gotta work for this thing, man. It's Sirach chapter 7 and verse number 15. And it says, hate not laborious work, neither husbandry. And when you go into that word husbandry, it means field management, right? It goes into land or field management, meaning you have to watch over everything that pertains into the land, whether it be your animals, right? The flock, the herds, right? You have to, the vegetation, the fruits, the vegetables, everything you have to know. And that takes a lot of hard work for a man to handle a whole field, man, on top of his family, on top of the brotherhood, the congregation. Hey, guess what? When you're a leader in this truth, hey, you're a husband. You're a husbandman. When you're an elder, when you're a leader, you might be a leader of a congregation. Hey, you may even be leading your household. You got a household. Hey, guess what? You got to know how to manage your household. You got to know how to manage the sheep. That's hard work. It's not a light thing to do. So don't be slothful. And it says what? Hate not labor's worth, neither husbandry, which the Most High have ordained. And the Lord ordained this. The Lord ordained men and women to work in this thing, man. Since the beginning of time. Since Adam and Eve, man. Right? Guess what? The Lord ordained work in this thing. And you got to grind. Let me go to the book of... Actually, let me get this real quick. It's Sirach 40. See if this is what I want. Sirach 40. Actually, it's not what I want. Let me get the book of Genesis chapter 14 and verse 22. Yup, look at this. In Genesis chapter 14 and verse number 22. And it says, let's read about our forefather Abraham. And Abraham said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I would not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet. So Abraham, he's talking to this king, right? The king of Sodom. He said, I'm not going to take a thread or even a shoe latchet, right? And it says, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abraham rich. So like I said, you want to be able to work with your own hands in this truth. You don't want to build upon another man's foundation. You don't want to build off another man's works, man. You want to sincerely grind and put your brick in for the Lord, as we always say, right? And like, there's different works that sisters can do leading up to Passover. There's different works that brothers can do. You got people that make garments. You got people that show how to make unleavened bread, that make unleavened bread for the body. Whether it's for your house, whatever. There's always works that you can do for the Lord. You don't want to say another person made you rich, man. You don't want to have that spirit of just depending on somebody else all the time, man. Right? You want to work with your own hands as the Lord have ordained. Let me go to Luke chapter 19, because the Lord gave every one of us talents. The Lord gave every one of us talents, man. And we got to flip those talents with the gifts that the Lord gave you. This is the book of Luke. Chapter 19, Slakia. Luke chapter 19, and I'm going to start at verse. Let me start at verse 12. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. So the Lord gave his servants talents, man. Right? He gave them 10 pounds. He said, occupy till I come. Meaning, guess what? When you got this, hey, do what you need to do with it. Don't just lose all the money. Don't just splurge it. Don't just splurge your talents all around and waste your talents that I gave you and waste the money I gave you. But you better occupy, hold on to it. Hey, multiply it. Right? And it says, verse 14, but his citizens hated him and sent a message after him saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. So you got to use this, man. This is business. So he wanted to know how much every man had gained by trading, right? Then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. And this servant increased the money that the Lord gave him, spiritual riches the Lord gave him, and increased it. Right? Verse 17, and he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. And that's ultimately what we want. We want to have authority over 10 cities. We want to have the inheritance and the gifts of the Lord, man. But we got to put in this work first. And it starts now. We got 23 days to Passover, man. Right? How do you want to go into this Passover? How do you want to feel? You want to feel zealous, or you want to feel like, damn, I know I'm wicked for eating this lamb. I know I shouldn't even be here right now. Do you want to just condemn yourself in your own conscience? Or do you want to have that spirit of, being confident that you could eat of that Passover meal, that you can drink of that wine of the Lord? You want to have confidence by making your calling and what? Election sure. Let's get that. Let's go to 2 Peter. Chapter 1. 2 Peter chapter 1. And let's start at verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, giving diligence. So you got to be diligent to do what? To make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, you shall never fall. So if you're making your calling and election sure, you're patterning and mirroring your life after the servants in the Most High, after Yahushua, then you're making yourself sure that, hey, Lord willing, you can be part of the elect. In your mind, you can say, I really got a chance to be, part of the elect in the start of the next world to come, man. Or you're going to condemn yourself because you know all the things that you were doing and knew you could have gone harder, man. So it starts now. It starts today, man. 23 days to Passover. With that, let's give all praise to Yahweh. Say shalom.